Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into the Fake Spike Podcast. Tyler and Cole, what's going on, man?
What's up? How's everybody doing today? Crazy week in the NFL.
Pretty good week in the NFL, in my opinion. What do you think?
I think so. I think it was a good week. I mean, it was a rough weekend for me, but NFL wise, it was a good week, I think.
And you won't quite know yet. We record this Monday before the night game starts, so
Yes.
he does
Well,
not
the
have
Saints
the
win
result.
tonight. Um, that'll be better. But
How, how about that game, man? And those touchdowns.
yeah,
It
that
was crazy.
defense, the defense,
Yeah,
and that one guy with that crazy amount of yards. Yeah, that was crazy.
yeah, right. Man, and Andy Dalton. Wow, what a game from him. Anyway, okay, we're done with that. Uh, all right. Do you want to get right into the recap, or do you want to talk about some of the topics? What do you want to do?
Let's get into topics. For those of you guys that don't know, Tuesday is all about topics and a recap. Thursday will be predictions for those new to the podcast. We got a bunch of topics we're going to talk about here in our Fancy Schmancy group chat. That is just the two of us. And let's get into it. What do you want to touch base first on? Touch base on first.
Let's hit on Baker Mayfield getting released by the Panthers.
Surprising or no?
Kind of, but also not really, because he has not looked good this season. I don't know what it is, but he did not look good. He looked all right for the Browns 2 years ago. Last year, he was battling a shoulder injury, so he didn't look great. And this year, he doesn't look like he has it. I mean, he's been replaced by PJ Walker and Sam Darnold. And he came in and replaced Sam Darnold almost immediately. So looks like Carolina's having quite a quarterback carousel over there.
When do you think they're going to get it together?
Maybe the draft. Maybe they'll
Maybe
draft.
the draft, he says.
Maybe they'll draft a decent quarterback. Their season's over, man. They fired their head coach already. They're cutting the quarterback that started week one for them. They traded Christian McCaffrey. They traded Robbie Anderson.
That was good for McCaffrey, though.
Who hasn't done jack squat for the Cardinals. But yeah, McCaffrey looks pretty good with the Niners. Speaking of the Niners, Jimmy G's done for the season.
Yeah, so I've heard off and on throughout the whole season that he was kind of like a mid-tier quarterback.
I'd say he's upper mid-tier, if that makes sense.
Top 15, you'd say?
Somewhere around there.
Top 16. I forget the 32 teams.
Right.
That's what my thought process was. The 49ers have been good. They got a little bit better with the CMC trade, but a bad quarterback really affects the entire. Well, you know this. It really affects the entire flow of the offense. So, he can't be that bad for them to be playing pretty well. You know.
Right. They've won games before with him throwing very few passes. Like they won a playoff game a couple years ago when Jimmy G either completed or attempted 8 passes. So if you can work around a quarterback like that, he gets the job done when he needs to, and he doesn't cost you any games, you're in pretty good shape. But I don't know how they're going to do with Mr. Irrelevant. What's his name? Prudy?
Got me beat, buddy.
Let's see here. Let me try to look that up. You want to stall?
Yeah. So I got to look up the record for him, but the CMC trade kind of improved the record quite a bit, I would think, or actually, not even I would think. It was statistically proven that they've won. I think they've only lost like 2 games with CMC on the team, but whoever the backup is, that offense is definitely run heavy.
Got it.
Go ahead.
Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy?
Purdy.
Got a Purdy mouth. I think the drop off. I don't know. Nobody that I can think of. Do you know how good this new guy is?
Well, he was Mr. Irrelevant for a reason. Do you know what that means, bud?
You say Mr. Irrelevant?
Yes.
I know what irrelevant means, yeah.
No, no. Do you know what Mr. Irrelevant means?
In the NFL world, no.
Yeah. That means he was the last pick of the draft. So, yeah. You're the last, physically the last person drafted in the draft. Usually isn't too good of a career for you.
How many rounds are there again?
There's 7 rounds.
You know, some of the people above him probably got cut already. So
Oh, they definitely have.
give him fucking props. Give him his flowers or whatever.
Give him his flowers.
I don't fucking know what people say.
But yeah, do you think it at all it's a possibility that the 49ers sign Baker Mayfield?
Bless you, babe.
Sorry, there's a case of COVID going on in the background there.
Possibility. I mean, anything's possible for Kim possible. I just don't think they have a Baker Mayfield's going to demand probably a little bit good chunk of change. You think? You don't think?
With him just getting cut, I don't think he's in any position to demand anything. Plus, the Panthers are still paying him, so
I mean, anything's possible, right? What are they going to do when Jimmy G comes back, though?
Jimmy G's not coming back until next season.
No, I know. But are they gonna like if they sign a Baker Mayfield to a 2-year deal, right? And they might just sign him for the rest of the season if they do sign him at all. Obviously, nothing confirmed. But
I'm pretty sure Jimmy G is a free agent at the end of this year. I could be wrong, but they already have Trey Lance, who was drafted number 3 overall 2 years ago, and he broke his ankle or something week 3. So he's been out all season. Now Jimmy's out. So I'm pretty sure Baker Mayfield, if he signs with them at all, it would probably just be until the end of the season.
Okay, fair enough. Then yeah, 100% possible.
Let's see here. I think they could do decent with him. Baker Mayfield looked pretty all right when he had Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry and a good running back in Nick Chubb. So he had a good running back this year with Christian McCaffrey and good wide receiver with Debo Samuel. That would be if he signs with 49. No, DJ Moore. DJ Moore is pretty good. It would reunite Baker and Christian McCaffrey.
How funny would that be, though?
CMC's probably in that locker room right now, like, don't do it. Don't do it. We're
doing good over here, man. Don't fuck it up.
But, yeah, I don't think they could do very much with Mr. Brock Purdy over there. With Jimmy G going down, I think there's only 3 teams that could come out of the NFC and go to the Super Bowl. Being the Eagles, the Vikings, and the Cowboys. And if I'm being realistic here, it's probably going to be the Eagles because Cowboys are going to be the 5 seed, which means they're going to have to beat probably Tampa Bay in the first week, and then they're going to have to go to Philadelphia and beat the Eagles. And if somehow the Eagles lose and the Vikings win, then they're going to have to travel to Minnesota to play the Vikings. And see, they're going to have to do a lot of traveling.
Right.
And the 49ers, well, not the 49ers, the history between Kirk Cousins and prime time, right?
Not so hot in there.
No, he's very bad at prime time. And
always an opportunity to get better, buddy.
And
and what?
My dog's grumbling at himself in the mirror. Sorry, guys. Yeah. It's here. All NFL.
Not great in prime time.
All NFL games are all playoff games are prime time. So we'll see what he can do with that. It looks pretty decent against the Jets yesterday. Let's see here. What do you think? Who do you think is going to win the NFC?
Eagles.
You think it's going to be the Eagles?
There's not really a whole lot of other options. I mean, we do have the other options, like you discussed the Vikings and I think it's the Cowboys.
Yeah.
But the Eagles have shown up consistently. They had a few rough weeks there, right? But consistently shown up the whole season. I'm not saying they're going to win the chip, but
yeah. But before Sunday, I was including the 49ers in that, but I just don't see them doing it with Brock Purdy. Let's see here. What do we got?
Lamar.
Let's flip over to the other side, shall we? The AFC.
I figured.
Lamar Jackson. What do you got about Lamar Jackson?
Missed 1 to 3 weeks. Now I don't quite know what happened to him.
It happened. What? Okay. Apparently,
the informational lady in the background.
The informational lady in the background is my wife.
What was it? The person behind the curtain.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson's got a knee injury. Supposed to miss 1 to 3 weeks, and he
had a quad injury prior to this.
Anyway, apparently he had a quad injury also. And he wasn't looking too hot to begin with before this injury. Granted, he doesn't have any wide receivers. His wide receivers are hurt. And his running backs have been off and on the injury report and IR all season. So the Ravens are in rough shape. I don't give it long before the Bengals take that spot back. It could be next week, but the Ravens are playing the Steelers, so who freaking knows? Let's see here. Who do the Bengals have next week?
I will find out in a second, buddy.
All right. So
you go ahead. You keep talking. What's your party?
Lamar Jackson out.
Bengals have the Browns next week.
The Bengals have the Browns next week. Well, we'll get to the Browns here in a second. Oh my God. Yeah. With Lamar missing like half of the remaining season, at most, it's not a good look for him. Oh my God, English. All right.
Quad injury.
Yeah. Right now, the Bengals and the Ravens are tied for first place in the AFC North. And with Jackson hurt along with every other Raven not named Mark Andrews, it's not a good look for them. They still got Justin Tucker, who missed a 67-yarder. Was that this week or last week? I think that was last week. Regardless, the game against the Broncos was pretty bad. Did you watch that?
No, I didn't have an opportunity to watch anything this entire weekend.
That's right. I forgot about that. My bad.
All good, buddy.
That game was 9-3 going into the last drive of the game. Like, Russell Wilson looks like absolute garbage this year. The freaking Broncos defense is holding on for dear to life, trying to drag this team to victory, but it's not working. All it took was one decent drive by what the hell's the backup's name? Chelsea?
Isaiah Likely?
Yeah.
Huntley.
Not the tight end, but right. Huntley. All it took was one good drive by Tyler Huntley there, and they won the game. So bad years for the Broncos fans. They're going to have a top 5 pick, and they're giving it to the Seattle Seahawks, who will probably make the playoffs now that the 49ers are quarterbackless. So
that's tough.
Good news for Seattle. Lamar Jackson. No, Deshaun Watson. AFC North quarterbacks. They're all cycling through my head here. Deshaun Watson made his return to the NFL yesterday, or 2 days ago, if you're listening, on Tuesday. And he looked like garbage. Absolute garbage.
Yeah. For the Browns,
Um,
right?
what's that?
For the Browns, right? Yeah, I think so, right?
Yep, for the Browns. He threw one interception, 0 touchdowns. I think like 100 and something yards.
I have it in a second.
You'll have it in a second. All right, yeah.
Browns, Deshaun Watson, 131 yards, 1 interception, was sacked once. 12 for 22.
Yeah, he looked like he did not know what to do with that pass rush. And the Texans have the first pick in the NFL draft. They are a terrible freaking team.
But he's
And
come back from 2 years on injury, right?
not 2 years on injury. 1 year he decided to take off because he didn't want to play for the Texans anymore. And he's been suspended for the past 11 games.
Okay,
So
so he's been gone for 2 years to the point.
yeah, he's been gone for 2 years. And a real NFL pass rush and not a practice pass rush. I think he looked a little concerned by it. Forgot what it was like to be hit by a 300-pound man.
Take your head off.
He was scrambling for his life, and next week against the Bengals ain't going to be much better. The Bengals have a very good defense. I know we talk a lot about their offense because Joe Burrow is elite. Jamar Chase is one of, if not the best wide receiver in the NFL. T. Higgins is a stud. Joe Mixon is a stud. They got really good pieces on that offense. So their defense is a little underrated. I think they're going to have fun with Deshaun Watson next week.
They get to press. They get to learn a little bit. Maybe get better.
Yeah.
No, the Bengals.
Right. I figured.
What else do we have on there? I'm sorry. Burrow's great. We talked about that. I think we got 2 more things left. Eagles and Cowboys. Which one do you want to talk about first?
The Eagles, friggin' Jalen Hurts went crazy yesterday. A.J. Brown had fun dancing on his old team.
100 yards from A.J. Brown.
100 yards from A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I saw something on the internet where he put $100 bills in his pads for the 100-yard game.
Jesus. Did he have 1 or 2 touchdowns?
2 touchdowns, 119 yards. Longest was a 40-yard.
Yeah. Those 2 are something else together.
For 10. That's fucking.
Yeah, I'm sure A.J. Brown just enjoyed seeing his old team again.
You know,
seen him for a long time now.
Normally you see Jalen Hurts rushing a lot, right? Like 50, 60, 70 yards a game.
Right.
12 rushing yards.
And he still put up that many fantasy points.
380 yards total.
Holy crap.
Let me rephrase that. 380 passing yards. I'm sorry.
380 passing yards. That's pretty nuts, man. Let's see what we got.
And he killed it in fantasy for me, thanks to my league's ridiculous scoring methods.
Right. You're in that quarter point per completion league. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see anybody stopping them on their way to the NFC Championship at the minimum.
Think they're walking away with the NFC Championship?
Right. I mean, the Cowboys defense absolutely destroyed the Colts last night, or Sunday night rather. But Eagles offense is just a tad bit better.
Have the Cowboys played the Eagles yet this year? Yes, probably yes. It's just slipping my mind. Yeah, they lost 26-17.
Right. So they
play them again week 16. Sorry to cut you off. And they play them again week 16.
Right. They got one more game left against them. So yeah, I don't see anybody taking the 1 seed away from the Eagles. On the other side, we got the Bills taking the 1 seed back after the Dolphins lost to the Garoppolo-less 49ers. That's a complicated word to say.
Garoppolo-less.
All right. And the Chiefs lost to the Bengals. So Bills back to the 1 seed. They better hang on to it before the freaking Bengals take it away from them. Bengals started off pretty bad this year. They were 0-2 and they didn't look good in the couple games after they got their first win. So they've turned it around pretty nicely.
Explain this to me real quick. So I'm looking at the conference standings. Titans are 4th in the conference standings.
Right.
7-5. 5-3 in conference play, 3-0 in division play. Bengals are 8-4. And they're fucking 5th place. Now their division play is 1-3. So but conference play, they're 5-3. It's the same shit, minus outside of the division play. So what's up?
The way the NFL works is there's the 4 divisions, the AFC North, East, South, and West. And the top 4 can only contain 1 team from each division. So if you're not leading your own respective division, you cannot be a 1-4 seed.
That makes so much more sense because the Ravens are a better team than the Bengals, or at least standings wise.
Standings wise. I take it after this week, the Bengals will be probably the 3 seed, maybe the 2 seed. They'll probably jump the Chiefs. They'll probably be the 2 seed after this week, and the Ravens will drop down to the 5 or maybe even the 6, depending on what else is going on there.
Fair enough.
The Dolphins are pretty good, so they're probably the 6 or 7 seed actually. So I think that's all we got for topics.
Yes, sir. You ready to get in some recap, baby?
Yes, sir. We did absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, we have positive records, but not good enough. Let's see here. We had the Bills beating the Patriots on Thursday Night Football, and that was so long ago. I'm going to make this quick. The Bills were 3.5-point favorites, and I think they won by like 14 or something. So absolutely crushed the Patriots. Next up, I had the Bears plus the points, and you had the Packers winning outright. You got that one correct, which stinks because going into the end of that game there, the Bears were leading basically the entire game, and the Packers came back and won it in the end.
18 points in the 4th.
Yes, sir. So here, next up, we both had the Steelers beating the Falcons. The Falcons were favored by 1. Steelers won by 3.
Yeah, not really a fan of that, but
why are you not a fan of that, bud?
I just want your Steelers to lose. That's all. I want you to feel my pain.
Why, just because we beat your Saints?
We're both fucking shitty teams this year, so you just happen to be slightly less shitty.
Funny thing is, I think your team is better on paper.
I think your team's better on paper.
See what I got to deal with, guys.
We're 4-8. You're fucking 5-7. Granted, we haven't played this week. Yeah, well, by the time you guys hear this, Andy Dalton's crazy fucking game. But
you're right. Maybe another 6 touchdown game. What do you think?
Fuck you. 6 touchdowns for us. I'm down for that.
Not 2 for you, 4 for the other team.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Next up, we had the Jets at the Vikings. The Jets were, the Vikings were favored by 3. And towards the end there, I thought the Jets were going to pull it off and beat the Vikings, but they did not. So Vikings won that game. We both had that correct. Let's see here. Going on to Detroit. The Jags were at Detroit. Detroit was favored by 1, and the Lions absolutely stomped them.
Destroyed them, 40-14.
Yeah, the Lions defense looked really freaking good. Trevor Lawrence had a scary injury there in the 3rd quarter, I believe, but he did come back. He looked fine. Hopefully it wasn't just adrenaline and he's actually fine, because the way he twisted that leg looked bad.
That's my backup fantasy quarterback.
Let's see here. Eagles at the Titans. Eagles were favored by 5.5. They definitely covered that. Which we both had the Eagles. Then we both had the the Browns at the Texans.
Yep.
We both had the Texans plus the points. We had them +7, and they did not. They did not get that done.
No.
Because
they fell short about 6 points.
if we were only counting the Browns' offensive points, we'd be fine. Because the Browns scored 6 offensive points. Not counting extra points.
Wait, run that by me again?
Yeah, they had the Browns had 3 scores from special teams and defense. Yeah.
Huh.
The Browns had 6 offensive points, unless you count the 3 extra points. Then they had 9 offensive points.
So fucking 18 of their points came from special teams and defense.
Yep.
So the Texans played like dog shit then.
Yes, they did. But they're the Texans. They got the #1 pick in the draft for a reason. I cannot wait to see the Browns take on the Bengals. Like I said, should be fun to watch. Next up, we have the Commanders at the Giants, and that game's a push because they fucking tied.
Yeah, that is the first time we've tied all year, I believe.
I believe so. What do you think about ties in the NFL?
I think it's stupid.
What do you think they should do?
Well, that game went to what? Single OT?
There's only one OT.
Yeah, so they should do double OT. Fucking play until you fucking win. That's what they do in the NBA.
The NBA's got a little less contact, but
A lot less contact, unless you're LeBron, and then the wind fucking hits you all the time. Anyways,
and we're not going to talk about that either. LeBron James comments on Jerry Jones. I'm sure you've seen that.
Skipping all that. Yep.
Yeah.
All that bullshit.
So yeah, there's not much to talk about there other than the fact that we've had 2 ties in the NFL this year, and they both ended
at 20.
with 20-20 tie.
Fucking league's rigged.
Next up, we had the Broncos +8.5 against the Ravens. And we won that one because the Broncos lost by a point.
Yeah, that's close and low scoring game.
All right. I'm sure if the sports bookies knew that Lamar Jackson was going to get hurt, they would have changed the line a little bit. Just a tad bit. But yeah, overall, that was an interesting game to say the least. 49ers, that's the next game. Broncos didn't look great. Ravens didn't look great. At least the Ravens had somewhat of an excuse. Next up, we have the Dolphins at the 49ers. And the 49ers were favored by 4 points.
Well, they did that.
We both had the Dolphins. We both took an L there.
Yeah, that's a little depressing.
In first play of the game, Tua hit a 75-yard touchdown pass. And the funny thing about that is, in fantasy, I had Tyreek Hill and my opponent had Jalen Waddle, and the guys were running down the sideline, and I'm like, who the heck is that? It was neither one of them. It was some guy I never heard of. Steinfield or something like that.
Tagovailoa. Yeah.
What did you just say to me?
The fucking quarterbacks. Something Tagovailoa. We've been over this, but I'm not going through it again. Pass short right complete to Miami 35. Catch made by T. Sherfield at Miami 35. Gain of 75 yards.
Tua Tagovailoa. See, now you're messing me up, man.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Or his inappropriate name. That's by a funny YouTuber. Tua Tongue on an areola.
I like that one. That'll be easy for me to remember.
All right.
9 minutes.
Yeah. 49ers were still able to win with Brock Purdy. I think I just like saying his name.
Got a
He's
Purdy.
Purdy. Let's see here. Next up, we have the Seahawks at the Rams. I had the Seahawks, and you had the Rams plus the points. Seahawks won, but the Rams covered. I don't know how the heck the Rams covered. They have nobody out there, but a win's a
Win's a win.
Betting win is a win, I guess. See here.
Listen, these are your rules, not mine.
Next up, we have the Chargers at the Raiders, and the Chargers were favored by 1.5. We both had them. We both took the loss there because for some reason the Chargers didn't want to cover Devontae Adams.
Just didn't feel like it.
What's that?
Just didn't feel like it.
Just didn't feel like it, man. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it pays off for him.
I like that.
Yeah, so bad game there from us. Next up, we have the Chiefs at the Bengals. Chiefs were favored -1.5. And yeah, we both got that one wrong. Bengals won by 3, I believe. And that's at least 3 games in a row where the Bengals have beaten the Chiefs. It's crazy because Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, one of the best, if not the best, head coach and quarterback combo in the league. Joe Burrow is absolute stud of a quarterback, but his head coach, not a big fan of him. I think they could get a better one for that offense. Let's see. Then we had the Colts plus the points against the Cowboys, and yeah, that 11 point spread wasn't big enough.
Not even fucking close.
Going into the third quarter, it was, but
yeah, how about that shit? 33 points in the fourth. 33.
Sure this chair has weight.
Yeah, that's nuts, man. And that leads us to tonight's game, which we will discuss on Thursday.
Yes, where the Saints win.
Where the Saints win. Right.
I'm trying.
How much time is that left, boss?
6 minutes.
6 minutes. Do you have any final things to discuss?
I don't. What about the person behind the curtain?
Well, she's being ambushed by dogs right now. So
Literally.
The noise is concerning.
She's in the rocking chair, and both dogs are on her lap. And for those of you listening at home, I do not have small dogs. They're both 65 pounds.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure this rocking chair has a weight limit.
We'll find out. Anyway.
On the next episode of
Elsa goes to the ER.
Badass Dogs.
You want to rank the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, bud? What are your top 5 quarterbacks?
Oh, fuck, man.
Did I put you on the spot?
You did. All
right.
Pre or post injury?
What's that?
Pre or post injury?
Like us.
Well,
going into the
not that Garoppolo is going to be in my top 5, but like Lamar Jackson's pretty good. He's injured.
Well, we'll say going into the playoffs, so he'll be back by playoffs.
I didn't know we got a parrot.
All right. Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts, is that your number 1?
Yeah, Jalen Hurts is my number 1. Probably Mr. Mahomes.
Mr. Mahomes.
Take him in number 2.
I really put him on the spot, you guys. He's not good under pressure.
I'm great under pressure when I know the topic extensively. But so now I'm like thinking of all the quarterbacks I can name off the top of my head. I'm going, is he trash or not? So I got Jalen Hurts, Patty Mahomes will go Shit. I don't know who to put third and fourth. I got Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. I'm gonna go Burrow third, Jackson four.
Okay.
What?
Nothing, man.
And then
Just waiting to see if you have a name in there or not.
we'll go Josh Allen.
There you go.
It was, dude. So I'm fucking guessing here. It was stuck between him and tongue on an areola.
Tongue on it. You can just call him Tua.
The
Everybody
only other
calls
fucking person I can remember was Geno Smith. That's not fucking good.
Geno Smith. What the? All right.
Oh, and Jimmy Garoppolo, but you know.
So
Oh, I
my
guess there's
top-
Russell Wilson too, Deshaun Watson. Okay, now I can think of a lot more. I'm not saying they're good. I'm just saying I can think of them now. Andy
now that
Dalton,
you don't-
Kyle
now that
Pickett.
he's not under pressure, he's good.
Yeah. I mean, there's still not good quarterbacks I'm naming. Kyle Pickett, example number one, but
Kyle Pickett. Who the fuck's Kyle Pickett?
I don't fucking know, buddy. Oh, isn't
You know-
Kyler Murray a quarterback?
Kyler Murray is a quarterback.
That's what I was thinking about. Bam.
Let's see here. My top five, I would have Mahomes at 1. 2 and 3 are close. I have Burrow, Allen. 4, I have Jalen Hurts. And 5,
I'm offended.
what are you offended about?
Why is he so low?
I mean low.
He's top 2. And
You
Pat
want-
Mahomes is only top 2 if there's no Call of Duty out.
That's Kyler Murray, you
We're all
blonde fuck.
fucking playing Call of Duty. Dude, Pat Mahomes was in a fucking Call of Duty commercial.
Doesn't mean he does. Dude, look at Kyler's stats after Call of Duty drops in the
I
past.
will
like,
research
4
them
years.
after this fucking call.
Every time Call of Duty comes out, his freaking stats go.
That bad? I'm interested. I got a buddy who has him in fantasy. I'll double check that.
And 5, I'd say Justin Herbert.
I forgot all about him.
Forgot about Herbert. Herbert's good, man. He's
Forgot about
got a piss poor head coach, but I'd say he's pretty good.
Who the fuck's your quarterback?
Kenny Pickett.
See, I fucking got Kyler and fucking Kenny Pickett mixed up.
Yeah, I see that. And so the AFC is stacked for the next few years. They got a lot of good quarterbacks.
Dude, watch this time next year. I'll know everything I'm fucking talking about. I guarantee it.
Good stuff, man. You
Guaranteed.
just
I
need an
stand
off
by it.
season, right?
Denzel Washington. What?
You just need an off season, right?
I need to fucking have time to pay attention to everybody.
True. All right, man. You want to close this out?
Yes, sir. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please consider dropping us 5-star if you listen on audio. If you guys are on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. We have grown significantly in the last 2 weeks. We are 2 subscribers away from 25. 2 weeks ago, we were at like fucking 6. So hit the subscribe button. We're almost at 25. Podcast coming out. You know, follow us, all that fun stuff. We're on TikTok and Instagram, though we've been slacking a little bit on posting socials, but we will get back to it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Peace out.
Peace.